Part 2 of this is I'm just going to explain all of them on the dice. So I'm going to explain the dice stands for what the dice is, and I'm going to explain that right now. So if you have, for example, an 8, a 2, and a 1, and I'm just going to start with a running deer, which is an ace, an 8, and a running deer. So the player puts any numbers that we roll, all the numbers are 8s and aces, because it's a 1, to the center of the pile. And yes, and that's basically how you play. You can play this game up to 10 players. You can try playing with 12 or 11, but I wouldn't recommend it, because it takes a long time, more players than it is one player. Say if it's all numbers. So if the person has a jack, an ace, or an 8, so basically is if they have any of these numbers, they're safe. But say it's near the end of the game, and you don't have any of these numbers, then all the other players can throw the cards onto the other player. The player who rolled the dice that didn't have any as a penalized. So then he's stuck with the cards because he didn't play his turn. But if no one has any of those cards, if they're already out or in the center pile, then it just goes to the next player. So then they roll. Let's wait. They roll. Yeah. And this is a deer in a headlight and 2 numbers. So this is one as a deer in a headlight and 2 numbers. So all the cards from 1. So you get to choose an ace, which is worth 1 point at the end, or an 8, which is worth 8. So I would suggest you get rid of an 8, and it goes to the center pile. So this happens. A deer in a headlight, a running deer, and a number. So if this happens, it's odds or evens, depending on what numbers roll on dice. Since this is an 8, so it can be any number, ace till 8, not a 10. It's not including the face cards, jack, queen, king. The jacks, queen, kings cannot be playing that role. So they get rid of all their cards that are evens. Only the player that rolls it gets to do that, and it goes to the center of the pile. And then if you go like this, 2 deer lights and a running deer. And this is a really good one too. This is a really good one, cause it's so all the any cards from any 2 cards from if you have 4, like 10 queens and 8 queens and 8 kings, then you can throw those to the center pile. And then you got this one, which is two lights and lose, you get to assign someone's lose a turn. So the players who, players, if you're playing with two, then you get to lose a turn. So it'll be your turn next. You assign lose a turn. And roll again. So if you're playing with two players, you roll again. And you assign his lose a turn. And then you roll again. So this is a really good one. You assign a player to lose a turn and you roll again. So if you're playing with two players, that means you get to go twice. So twice in a row. So you assign his loser turn, you go again, and then you go again because it's on his loser turn. And if you're playing more than two players, then you can actually assign someone to lose your turn. And when it's considered turn, they get skipped, and you roll again. And you continue your turn. That's the best one to have. And then there's the worst one is to have two numbers and a zero, two numbers and a zero and a highlight. So that includes jacks, kings, or queens, and that means you lose a turn. And it means your turn is lost because you lost your turn. So it goes to the next player. And here's another one that I hadn't done yet. There's a car. Say it's this, and a car and a daylight and a thing. Then you get to pass all the cards matching the number roll. So a 5, so you get to put any cards to any player or alternate players, but it has to be a 5. And yes. And yeah, anything that adds up to a 5 or a 5. 4, 1, a 8, a 2, and then it can be 2 cards max. You cannot add up to 5 cards. No. 2 cards max. But if it's a 5, a 4, 1, yeah. And then the next one, for example, is for example this, which is two numbers and a card. So all the numbers responding to the number row goes to another player. So anything that is to 5 and 10 plus any other card goes. And then there's 2 more that I want to show. Well, sorry, 1 more. Yes. 2 numbers and a running deer. So this is a running deer, 2 numbers and a running deer, and it's whoever has this number is all the cards from 1 to 2, all the cards roll plus any other card from hand, so all the numbers roll plus any other card goes to pass to any player. I've already told you that one. And the 2 numbers in the card goes to this one's another one where it's 2 numbers in the card goes to the corresponding number, so 10 or 5, not 15. So some people might get that confused, but it's either 10 or 5. corresponding to number roll. And it goes to the center pile. So not 15, because there is no 15, it's 10 or 5s. And then this, the worst one is to have is, other than lose your turn, is this one. This one you do not want, and it's the worst one in a card game. And it's rolling player is frozen and picks up all the cards to a center pile. On the next roll, they must roll again. And the next game, they have to roll one during a highlight. If they don't, they're still frozen. And if someone gets assigned to lose your turn, then when you get back in your game, you get to lose your turn. After you're frozen. So yeah, that's what you don't want to do. You pick up all the piles, the cards from the pile, and yes, yada. And you have to roll again if you don't get percent, but there I got, so then you get that. And oh yeah, and the person, the score sheet comes with it, and 2 dex cards and 3 dice. One's beige, one's red, and one's red. One's blue. The object is the first one to deal, and first one to discard all the cards wins the game. Or it doesn't win the game. As around jacks, queens, kings count as 10. Aces always count as 1. The winner of each turn has no cards left in it. And yes, you can have two winners in that game. And whoever has a higher number at each player gets 1 dice to roll at the beginning of the game to see whoever higher goes first. And that's it for me. And this player 2 and up is the players, but I wouldn't recommend playing with more than 8 players. More than 10 or 8. More than 12 players. I wouldn't recommend playing with more than 12 players. And it's 2 and up, and in the ages 8 and up. And that's it for me. Awesomeness 24 is great. It's out. Bye bye.